Hey guys, how you guys doing today? This is Darren Jackson, and I am here just to get a chance to talk about Texas and Oklahoma moving from the Big 12 to the SEC. So basically, from my standpoint, and this is what I got today, and I'm hoping that I am saying this right. Both Texas and Oklahoma has agreed to decide that they are looking to be able to make that move from the Big 12 to the SEC. So, with that being said, I believe that this is going to happen in 2025 because the Big 12 is not going to let them break out of their contract, which I, I kind of agree to it in a huge way. And I do believe that this is going to emerge. So Texas and OU is not renewing their Big 12 media rights, which in case they will be leaving after the contract ends on June 30th, 2025. So with that being said, what does this mean to all the other teams in the conference? Teams like Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Oregon. I'm sorry, Iowa State, Kansas, and Kansas State. I think I've already said those teams. Well, that means that some of those teams are going to move on to another conference, while others haven't made that decision on what they're going to do. I believe that if you take a look at the conference realignment, with Texas and OU going to the Big, well, I'm sorry, to the SEC from the Big 12, I believe that Texas Tech will probably take their talent and their school to go to the Pac-12. I don't know about Oklahoma State. I think that Oklahoma State could either go to the Big 10 or they could go to the Pac-12. It would make more sense for them to go to the Pac-12 than the Big 10, clearly because of the fact that Oklahoma State is almost like Texas and OU. Uh, they are the premier super heavyweight. And to actually say that Texas and OU are the premier heavyweights of the Big 12, which they have represented the Big 12 in so many different ways, Oklahoma State has done the same thing as well. With that being said, when you talk about the conference realignment, Kansas will probably go to the Big Ten along with Kansas State because Kansas is known for a basketball school. You got to think about Baylor, who won the men's national championship. They're a basketball school. Where does Baylor go? Where does TCU go? For a while, I heard TCU is interested in wanting to go to the Pac-12, which I don't think that that's a good idea for TCU. I think that they will be more of the American Athletic Conference, and probably would be the same thing with Baylor. With that being said, you got to think about Houston, you got to think about SMU, you got to think about some of the other teams around the greater state of Texas, including Rice. Where does Rice go from this? If you have the SEC that's going to have 16 teams, East and West, what does that do with college football? Just like I heard from college football live on TuneIn Radio, and they were talking about Clemson, and they was also talking about Florida State. They were saying what schools are thinking about going to the SEC. Is Notre Dame going to be an ACC school? So many different schools that have options on what they're wanting to be able to do in the near future. What if Clemson does go to the ACC? What if, I'm sorry, the SEC from the ACC? What if Florida State decide they want to do it? What if Miami want to do it? A lot of these schools have made decisions on based on what they want to be able to do. And I kind of agree to some extent to a lot of experts on what they stated about how the Big 12 came about. You had the Southwest Conference, all the Texas schools except Arkansas, and then you had your Big Eight, which that was with Nebraska, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Missouri. Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State. Those teams merged together with the four Texas schools, Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and Baylor. They merged into the Big 12. So when the Big 12 was competitive at that time, they was competitive with other conferences like the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10, the Big East, the Pac-10. Those schools were conferencing in, and then around 2009, 2010, both Colorado and I forgot to say Colorado, who was also in the Big Eight. Colorado and Nebraska decided to leave the Big 12 to go to respective conferences, where Colorado went to the Pac-10 and Nebraska went to the Big 10. I fully think that had the conferences would have never split up, and with the emergence of Missouri and Texas A&M leaving from the Big 12 go to the SEC, I think that if they would have stayed together, they would have banded together. I think that the Big 12 would have survived in a better portfolio than what it is today. I really think that this is something that a lot of people are interested in, and they are looking to be able to say, hey, if make that move, why don't we make a move? I think that this is something that a lot of people definitely want to take a look into it. And I think that this is something that a lot of people should consider by saying, hey, let's let Texas and OU play in the SEC and see what they can be able to do. It worked out for Texas A&M. It's somewhat working out for Missouri. I can't say it is or it isn't, but I do think that Missouri should have stayed in the Big 12. That's my perspective. I don't know how everybody else felt about that. All right, so I'm going on my Facebook and making sure to let everyone know that you can be able to go into my YouTube. It's Darren Jackson. It's going to be the Darren Jackson Show. It's a special show tonight for everyone to be able to watch me on YouTube. If you are looking at me right about now, or you're going to watch it a little bit later, shouts out to you guys. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can be able to not miss another video. I am very interested in wanting to know more details on what's going to transpire with all of this dilemma. And I'd want to say is a dilemma because Texas and OU are leaving the Big 12 to go to the SEC. That is one of the biggest dilemmas that we all expected it was going to happen. About 10 years ago, when everybody thought that Texas and OU, as well as Oklahoma State and I think Texas Tech, everybody was thinking they were going to go to the Pac-12 to be able to play with teams like USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington State, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah. Everybody thought that, hey, the Pac-16, this could happen. It could be something to watch. But now knowing that Texas and OU are going to the SEC, that is a major setback. And I think that this could be the thing that Texas and OU could be able to do. I'm not saying Texas and OU is going to pull this off and they're going to win the Southeastern Conference every year. I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is if you want to play the best, you want to be the best, you got to play the best. And the SEC is the best. The Southeastern Conference has the best schools in the country. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Missouri, Vandy. I mean, from a geological standpoint, I think that not only it's going to attract college football, it's also going to attract college baseball. Because you got to think about it. If Texas is jumping to the SEC, Look who they got to face in college baseball. You got to face the LSU's. You got to face the Vanderbilts. You got to face the Tennessees. You got to face the Florida. Those matchups could come down to where who has the best baseball program in the country. I fully think that Texas has a shot to be able to do a lot of good things, not just in football, but also could be able to do things in basketball, men's and women's basketball. They could be able to do baseball, softball. They could be able to do a lot of sports, and especially volleyball. Texas has been known as a powerhouse in volleyball. Oklahoma has been known as a powerhouse in softball besides football. The men's and women's basketball could make a challenge. A lot of good things are going to happen. We're going to get a chance to see rivalries that we thought that we was not going to be able to see. Even Oklahoma against Arkansas. I know it's a lot of Arkansas fans may not be happy about it. Texas A&M definitely is not going to be happy about this either way it goes. It's the same thing with Missouri, but a lot of other schools like LSU and Alabama and Auburn, Kentucky, they're going to be like, hey, let's go for it. Let's let's bring Texas and OU and see what they can be able to pull under the table. I really think that this could be something that a lot of people want to take a look and consider on what they want to go forth on who and what, when, and why. So the who had this plan all along? Was it Texas? Was it Alabama? I'm sorry. Was it Oklahoma? Was it both? What? What transpired both of these schools to want to play in the SEC? A lot of it has to deal with a lot of money that the SEC network has brought along the table. And then you got to think about the Longhorn Network, which probably going to disband in 2031. How? How did this come about? Basically, I think how it came about is Texas and OU said, hey, we're tired of playing neck and neck against each other. We're tired of playing all the other Big 12 schools. We're dominating the conferences. And generally, it's basically the college playoffs because the college playoffs has expanded better than recently. The SEC has dominated. When you take a look at the stats between Texas, I'm sorry, between the Big 12 and the SEC, the SEC is 11-4 in the college football playoffs, while the Big 12 is 0-4, and all four of those were Oklahoma. And who doesn't want to be in the SEC? I truly wanted to say I support this. I'm not going to say names on who doesn't support it because it's not important on who all think, well, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. This is going to hurt college football. It's going to hurt college athletics. It's going to hurt the NCAA. I don't think it's going to hurt the NCAA, but I do think that it's going to excel into college sports to say, hey, let's have these super conferences. The Big Ten could be thinking about expanding more teams. The Big 12 is going to be disbanded. The Pac 12 probably going to be the Pac 16, the American Conference. The Power of Five and the Group of Fives, I'm going to say like this: if this is a scenario of being a money marketing deal, I think that they should wait until they could be able to go ahead and maybe have maybe like an 18 bracket or a 12 team bracket or a 16 team bracket like the FCS does, which I think that that is something that, or I'm sorry, the football championship subdivision. I think that that's something that they should be able to take a look into it. And they really, I believe that this is one of the best deals that we have ever seen. So, what do you guys think that that you want to be able to see, or how do you guys feel about this? I'm definitely going to get back on my show on Thursday. I definitely hope that I can be able to get some people that can be able to talk about this. You can be able to hit me up on my Facebook. I disbanded my Instagram, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to be able to do Instagram. Too much drama of it. I can't deal with it no more. Uh, I also have my Twitter, Nextstar Level 20. So please, guys, hit me up on my Instagram. Oh, I'm sorry, my Facebook and my Twitter. So I'm about to go ahead and call it a night, but I want to say to you guys, thank you for the ones that have subscribed to me. I am very happy. Big shout out to Sandra Falcon. Thank you so much, Sandra, for putting in the good word about my podcasting, which in case I'm going to keep working on trying to get my podcasting better. Real soon, guys, like I said, I'm going to be doing Texan Live. I'm going to be covering Fox Sports games for this upcoming high school football season. Texan Live is definitely one website I'm going to be doing to cover high school football around in the greater Houston area. And hopefully, maybe it can lead me to bigger and better promising things. So I really want to thank you guys for how much you have inspired me to be able to do my podcasting. And like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and notifications. So therefore, you can be able to watch me more on my show. You guys are more than welcome to be able to come to my live chat. We could be able to get a chance to chat, get a chance to talk. And pretty soon, probably going to do some subscriptions, see if you guys could be able to donate money to me, where I could be able to work on trying to get my podcasting. I'm looking to be able to get a new building real soon on trying to get my podcasting going. I'm looking to be able to try to go on other shows in the near future, like I've been calling on other shows recently. So I'm going to keep expanding more into my podcasting. Like I said, the start of the season, we're going to get all into that. We're going to get into everything from the high school, college, and NFL with the weekly picks. So I want to say thank you guys for everything that you have done for me. And I am coming back on Thursday. We're going to talk about the Class 4A, Division One and Division Two, according from the Dave Campbell Texas Football Magazine. And we're going to get more into talks on conference realignment and also more talks about the Big 12 disbanding, where Texas and the OU are looking to make that move to the SEC. So guys, you guys have a good night and be blessed. Peace.